You know, I threw that little opening together. I'm looking at it now. I think I need to find someone with some great motion graphic skills and turn that into something pretty. I wonder if I know anybody. Hey, welcome to the show today. My name is Ken Napzok. This is Internet for Old People here on the Good People Association. And yes, if you've been following along this week, I caught a little sinus infection. Don't worry, it's not that. I'm doing fine. It's just I sound a little different, so don't worry about commenting. Don't worry about it. Just send me positive healing vibes. I'm happy to be here with all of you. This is, as I said, Internet for Old People, the show where we discuss the pop that made our culture. In a very serious world, I think this is also the very silly fluff, but it also has great meaning, great purpose, and a lot of memories. It is what built us. And to join me today to discuss everything going on in the world of our pop culture memories are two great people. I maybe one day we'll bring on a horrible person on this show, but I swear these are two of the best out there. From Heroes Reforged, we work together in many places, including Screen Junkies. We've schmo down together. He is Adam Halavic. And from Star Wars Explained, we've schmoed down together. We've done a lot of great things together out here in the nerd space. It's Molly Damon. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. I always figure because with virtual, we have to bring you in both. And I'm doing these big kind of like stand-up comic intros. Here's Adam. And if we brought you up, it would be Molly going, I'm next. Adam, Molly, welcome to the show. Adam, how have you been, my friend? How's Heroes Reforged going? And how are those California burritos?
Oh, man, those burritos are always doing excellent. It's good to see you. I feel like this is the first time I've seen you in over a year, even though it is virtual, so it's a little sad. But I'm excited to be here. Heroes Reforged is doing really well. A lot of exciting stuff. Right. And I'm just here to be on the internet for old people because that's where I'm at my age, I guess.
This is funny because, the show is way beyond that. It's way beyond just jokes about being old. But, I got gray in my beard. And you too. The ages have varied of all my guests. But when I reached out to both of you yesterday, I was like, I hope they realize I'm the old person around here. Molly, you're all doing great, okay? Okay? Don't worry about it.
I did just turn 34, and it doesn't feel great.
Well,
I'll be there in a month.
There you go. You're both old. That's it. That's official. The show can go on. Molly, how are you doing? You are also, I should point out, you also host a very fun Schmodown related show called A Certain Point of View. You and Alex Damon, you're his better half. You guys produce and work on Star Wars Explained. So I know you've been busy this past year making it all work, but thanks for taking the time today. How's things going over there?
Yeah, it's going great. We've been really busy with Bad Batch since that came out, and that's been awesome. We're doing a bunch of live streaming, and Schmodown's been fun. Everything's going great.
A lot of craziness here. And before we get into our segments here, I want to talk to you two about this because jokes aside, I'm older, decade older. That's a pop culture generation or two, depending on your point of view. And I'm really enjoying this world we've lived in and the one I've lived in for the last 5 years, where all the pop I love is what we discuss. You two being a generation or two behind, you are on the cusp of where it wasn't okay to talk about this, but now you get to talk about it every day. Do you have a thought on that perspective, living in that world, Molly, for the last 5 years? Does it feel extra special, or do you just feel like this is par for the course?
You mean just like being able to talk about nerdy stuff?
Yeah, because look, back in the day, if I talked about Star Wars, someone was going to jump out and dunk my head in a toilet. And it might have been Adam. No, I'm kidding. But I'm kidding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I remember when I was in like middle school, I remember some of my guy friends who liked Star Wars, they would kind of get picked on. Yeah. And I would like stand up for them, and they'd be like, they're like, a girl, Star Wars, I don't know what to say to that.
Does not compute.
But, yeah. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that I think has changed. It's still got a long way to go, and how we treat females and fandoms and everything is always hopefully a work in progress. At worst and at best, it's full acceptance. But Adam, you grew up, like I said, maybe a generation behind, but maybe you dealt with the same kind of things I felt, where you felt on the outside, or you didn't know Molly's existed. You weren't allowed to seek out anyone else who loved pop culture other than you and your immediate friends,
Yeah, I mean, high school was like that weird thing where you would bring up, oh, I'm so excited for this X-Men movie. And other people in your grade will walk by and they're like, wow, we have one of these at our school. And I'm like, I guess. But then, 20 years later, I guess we get the last laugh. So,
you know what? That's a great way to look at it. Yeah, we won.
We did it.
We did it. Always a battle, but we did it. Some great people check in and chat. A lot of our regulars here at the GPA, including Laserbolt, Daniel Medina, LQ, Lauren Romo of the Galactic Podcast of previous guests here, and this guy calling himself Star Wars Explained. He's got a check by his name, so I guess he's legit. Says, took 3 minutes for Ken to make a joke at my expense. Oh, I've got more coming, Alex. I've got more jokes coming at your expense here. Now, check out Star Wars Explained. This is also, we here, Good People Association, also put a lot of effort and energy and attention on charities, any Streamlabs, Super Chats, that kind of thing that come into any of our shows. A large portion of proceeds go to charities. This week, we're focusing on the Pasadena Humane Society, leading the way toward a compassionate and caring community for all animals. And yes, it's local to us, but we're putting that good vibe out there. And this is kind of dog month around the GPA. It just ended up happening that way. And Michelle from Pasadena Humane is coming in next week on our main show, Wednesday night, 4 p.m. live at Pacific time, bringing dogs in studio. After that, we're going to be doing some work with the Battle Buddy Foundation. So just putting that out there. We don't, this show's a little less interactive in that regard, but we definitely appreciate any donations to help the channel here, but also put that forward towards charities there. All right. Adam, Molly, are you ready to take a deep dive here? We are almost, Ikaika, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
This is what happens when I had my first swig of NyQuil for the first time in a year and a half. My brain is all over the place.
Fun.
Yes, it's been good. We got a little video coming up. Then we'll go to our segment. So, Ikaika, go ahead and take it away with our little bumper here, and I'll take a swig of water, everybody. Here, Internet for Old People. That's right. My choice is Pepsi. No Coke, Pepsi for me. And now I'm more emboldened with that choice because of the Spice Girls. All right. Now, for real, Alex and Molly, you ready to take a deep dive into Bucket Full of Pop? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Take me on a journey.
Let's do it. Now you can hit that one, Ikaika. My goal is to get everyone humming this song for the rest of their life. That's all I want. All right, Bucket Full of Pop is pretty simple. I picked out 3 things, dates, times. Could be a person, could be a video game, could be something that I want to see if you have a reaction to. I haven't told my guests what it is. It's not so much of a game as it's just kind of a test to see how we all connect. I call it the Shared Unique Journey. So our first one up here, going back to the 90s. Look at this one. Here we go. That's the reaction. That is the reaction I'm looking for. There we go. And yes, we have this version here. We've played it a little bit around on twitch.tv/goodpeoplegpa. This is my actual copy. Adam, I know you're jealous. Adam, your reaction to Goldeneye.
Can I swear?
Go for it.
I was dog shit at this game. Absolutely terrible. I had a friend, one of my best friends, longest friends for like 23 years. He had a Nintendo 64. So I used to go down to his house all the time. And we would play Cruising USA. We play a ton of stuff, Mario. But this Goldeneye game, God, I think that's the reason I never got into shooters, because this game traumatized me for the rest of my life because I was so bad at it.
A lot of running, looking up at the ceiling while someone defeats you with slappers. Old Handsaw says Remington still. Emily Rose Jacobson's in chat says Goldeneye with a big heart. Hey Emily, how are you? Lauren Ramos' best game ever. Molly, you had the intake of shocked breath I wanted to hear. What's your thoughts on Goldeneye and experience with it?
Oh man, I had an N64 and Goldeneye was one of the handful of games that I had, and I remember playing it with friends, but just not knowing what to do really. And then there was, of course, you had to do the slaps only.
Of course.
And like there was like a cheat where everyone had like giant heads or something.
Yes.
And I remember playing with some of my neighbors, and we would say, okay, it's slaps only. Big head is turned on, and you have to stay kneeling the entire time. So you could kneel and then just kind of like slide around. Like those were That's what we came up with for our like special version of this game, just to make it even harder.
All rules designed to make players like Adam feel even more frustrated.
Yep.
Adam, have you ever gone back and just tried this game at all? I mean, when it's proper, I'll invite you over to the studio. We'll just set up and play if you want to play.
Oh, I'm down. Actually, you know, that's been kind of the fun thing is they've been remastering so many of these games. Right. And I'm mostly a PlayStation user, so I've been playing a lot of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
And I'm loving it. Like I'm loving the fact that we're remastering so much stuff from, you know, like our childhood. So I would love to jump back into it and be absolutely just as bad, if not worse, than I was in 1999.
I love it. And the memories, you both are sharing the same memories, whether you're good or bad. I was always average. I was a little dirty player. I was a proxy mine guy. Like, I didn't mind sticking a proxy mine in a toilet, you know, so if you found it. Oh, look, or on guns, like, oh, you want the PP7? Yeah, there's a proxy mine on it. Come get it. So I was a little dirty, but it's those memories. For me, was the summer '96, just sitting there with friends. I was in college, started my radio career, you know, trying to step out in the real world. And nope, Friday nights were spent with a bag of Chips Ahoy, Mountain Dew, Del Taco, Goldeneye, and now I know where my health problems are, but I have such warm memories of my friends, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, mine is still kind of similar, but I've just replaced it with 4K Blu-rays instead of games.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you mentioned the remastered. One of my friends is in chat, and he's going to be a future guest here. He was actually from my hometown. I'm surprised totally we didn't play. Tony Porter in chat says, I worked on the update that replaced Pierce Brosnan with Daniel Craig. It was weird, but still cool. I did have that one. And I didn't get far in it because the game was almost too good. I needed it to be real bad graphics for it to connect. But did you guys try that replaced Daniel Craig one?
I have not.
No.
Well,
now I want to.
That's going to be on a future episode here. All right, so a lot of memories. I've been waiting to pull this one out. You guys gave me the reaction I needed, both good memories and, according to Adam, bad memories of just running into walls.
A good bad time.
Good bad time indeed. Yeah, a lot of people in chat just had the same experience of just playing it with friends, the good old days indeed. And as Gnome says, for England, James, for England, Trevelyan in there as well. All right, so that's number one. Number two item in the bucket full of pop is thus. Oh, yeah. Ooh. We're going back to the late 80s, but this ran for a while. I think there's updated versions. Mark Summer is a legend. This is, of course, Double Dare, the Nickelodeon game show that absolutely captivated the imaginations. Molly, you're pumping your fist. Take us through Double Dare.
So this is funny because I've seen not one but two documentaries about Nickelodeon and like these early game shows, and they're fascinating. I forget what it's called, but one of them's on Hulu. But I read something about Double Dare in the early days about how the people who worked there hated it so bad because when they first started out, they were using like real whipped cream. And like real edible things and all those like obstacle courses, and they were like, the smell in that studio
just I could mildew, failure of games. I don't know. That's a great little detail of. I have to seek out those docs. Adam, you have any reaction to Double Dare? Any connection to it?
I recognize the game title. Admittedly, I was not the biggest Nickelodeon consumer as a kid. I mostly stuck to Kids WB, Fox Kids, and Disney. Mostly Fox Kids because it had Batman the Animated Series, and come on, like, it's one of the greatest shows ever. But I know there was like a lot of kids at school would always talk about this show, and I always was like the misfit outside of the bubble who was like, I don't know what this is. I've never watched this show. It sounds intriguing, but after that story, I don't know if I want to watch a musty whipped cream game show. I'm sure it was fun. But so that's about as far as my connection goes.
That's fair.
Because I'm just, I'm uncultured swine, so I didn't watch enough Nickelodeon as a kid.
Well, it's funny. We in the nerddom, we can sometimes become the enemy we fight against when we divide our own fandoms into subgenres. It feels like you felt a little shunned by Nickelodeon Double Dare stands. Just a little bit. Oh,
I was a
Adam.
Power Rangers kid.
Yeah, Power Rangers. And a lot of people, Vermont Mike, say I tried to be on that show several times. Noam saying I auditioned for Double Dare at my local mall around 1988. Old Handsaw says, I remember when there wasn't a Nickelodeon. Emily Rose Jacobson says, when I was a kid, I wanted to be on Double Dare and figure it out. A lot of these great games. Molly, did you ever have dreams of actually trying out for one of the shows, or did you try out for one of these shows?
I did not try out for it. I did wonder what it would have been like, but I was like, I'd definitely hurt myself.
Yeah.
And there would be a lawsuit or something probably. But
Yeah.
I do remember just loving Mark Summers.
Yeah.
And I love that his career, like that just jump-started his career. And he's still doing stuff. He's still hosting shows. And he's just like such a delightful human being that like I really want to meet him in person someday. Well,
that's the thing about him. He takes this gig hosting a game show, you know, and I don't know too much of his background than hosting MC. Maybe he did stand-up comedy. That's where a lot of them come from. And here it is, years later. Your story's not unique in a way. It's your own unique journey, Molly, but it's shared between all of us. Because if I met Mark Summer, I'd be like, dude, you know, and he'd be like, what? I know, slime. You want to get slime? Yes, I want to get slime. It spans generations. And Vermont Mike says, remember Finders Keepers. Vermont Mike, I'm so glad you brought that up because that was the show right after Double Dare when I watched. You guys, Adam not being the Nickelodeon guy probably. Molly, do you remember Finders Keepers?
I don't remember it by name, but I religiously watched Nickelodeon and all of the shows, so I probably would know it if I saw it.
Yep.
But yeah.
And
I did a little bit of a cheat here, and I pulled up another tab, and I started watching clips of it. I for sure have seen this show, but it wasn't something I watched religiously. It's definitely one of those shows that if I click through and I was like, oh, this is like some kind of trivia game thing. All right, I'll check it out. But I recognize the set and all the like fabulous 90s graphics, late 80s graphics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I want to bring in our technical director here at Kaika. You're kind of in the same generation. What's your relationship to Double Dare? Was it anyone at all or a later version, Family Double Dare, something like that?
I loved all Nickelodeon. Double Dare was amazing. I was in the generation where I was a little too young. I wanted to be on the shows, but I was too young to do it. But I would watch like Double Dare and Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple, which they are going to remake. And Josh and I are auditioning, or we're going to apply for it because we want to do that.
I love that idea. What will it take to get Heroes Reforged and Star Wars Explained all to audition for Legends of the Hidden Temple?
Oh, Alex has already brought that application thing up, and he's told all of our friends, and he's like, we got to do this. So yeah,
I love him
we're in.
I love him just sitting around. Guys, I need your signature. Alex, we got it. We're gonna be in Hidden Temple. Adam, you and the boys want to fire up some old Hidden Temple running sneakers?
Oh, I'm in. Whatever happens. Whatever. It'll be a fun experience. Come on.
I absolutely love this idea. Kaika Makuga. Yeah, Kaika.
The only thing I'm worried about is the temple guards with Josh. Like, he's gonna have a heart attack if he gets on the show and like they grab him.
That's right. His ability to get scared will be against him. So there you go. Double Dare, part of that generation of vibrant, wild, and at times messy kids game shows that spawn an entire generation of fans. So I think everyone's excited about that. Heroes Reforged is in chat saying it wouldn't take much. I think that'd be a great idea. Great idea. Is it only 2 pairs? It can be 3. Can you guys tag out? Can like Hector tag in for you?
If someone gets knocked out, we'll just have to tag out, right?
I love that idea. As Emily Rose says in chat in a Palpatine voice, do it. I think everyone needs to do that. All right, final item from Bucket Full of Pop is this one. All right, we're going to 2006. I wanted to go to the dawn or the early days of this thing called YouTube and Chad Vader, the web series about the day shift manager who had a very familiar look. Chad Vader, indeed. So this is a weird one. I don't even have too much of a direct connection to it. But you both, like me, work in this digital space. And Adam, do you have any kind of memories, thoughts about this early viral sensation?
I've actually never seen it, which is kind of nuts because, like, I grew up on the forums watching all of the Star Wars fan films from, like, I don't know, 1999 to however long. But I think 2006, that's when I graduated high school. So I'm sure there was like a part of me that kind of like phased out of that. Maybe. I don't know. But it's Star Wars. And like Star Wars is the reason why I'm probably even sitting here if I'm being totally honest. So
Right.
I'm always going to have like a special place in my heart for Star Wars no matter what. So now I need to go watch it.
Well, it's part of the reason I knew either if either of you didn't have a direct relationship to it, you're both Star Wars folks and can appreciate it. Molly, as you or Alex done a Star Wars Explained on Chad Vader yet?
It's blowing my mind right now that I've never heard of this.
Wow.
I'm sure Alex has.
We'll see.
But
Alex,
I didn't get into YouTube for quite a while. I mean, I knew what it was, and I didn't really watch a ton of stuff online. But that was my first year of college, so I was probably busy being a nerd in other ways.
Well, but
it's 4 seasons and 38 episodes.
Yeah. And look, co-created by Aaron Yonda, Matt Sloan. It was kind of part of that early Channel 101 thing, and it kind of became its own thing. And Matt Sloan, who voices Chad Vader, goes on to actually voice Vader for Lucasfilm in a lot of things, in a lot of games, and a lot of things. He's been brought in, Soul Calibur 4, Force Unleashed, Lego Star Wars. He goes from having this fun kind of web series parody, having some fun with this thing we love, to being Darth Vader. I mean, that's gotta be the dream.
A glow up.
Molly, imagine if you end up voicing Grogu.
Oh, I don't. That's a lot of pressure.
And Alex in chat said, I definitely remembered existing and watched them, but I couldn't tell you much about them. So there you go. I want a Star Wars Explained, the history of Chad Vader. I've just given you a 1 million view video. You're welcome, Alex. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, yeah. And it also speaks to the early days, the quote, early days of this YouTube thing. You both brought it up. We're both in this, all three of us are in this space. You're both in this space. You are, as I've mentioned, little generation behind. But we all, in 2005 or 6, I don't know if we all quite knew what to make of this web series YouTube world, Adam. I don't know if we just understood.
I started on YouTube making fan trailers. Like I was learning Premiere, After Effects, and Photoshop. I made a ton of fan trailers for, a bunch of different movies and some Star Wars ones as well. Yeah. By like 2006, I kind of got the concept. And then 2008, my friends and I started making a web series. So we kind of got into it pretty early on. But yeah, like it's so crazy when you think about that, YouTube is a thing that's been around now for, almost 20 years, but it was such a crazy concept back then. And to see how many people were able to really knew how to embrace it and knew how to really kind of capitalize on that whole thing is amazing. Yeah. Some of those creators are no longer making stuff, but a lot are. And I think it's so cool that they've had that opportunity to do that.
It's the early days. It's truly a world of discovery, just kind of setting it how to do it, and lots changed, which many times for the better. Sometimes you long for the old days. But Molly, with you all too. When did Star Wars Explained actually start as a channel?
I want to say 2014. That sounds about right. But I feel like early YouTube days, I probably only saw the videos that went super viral.
Right.
Like, I don't remember when Star Wars Kid came out, where the kid is like showing off his amazing skills with a lightsaber. But that feels like early YouTube to me. Yeah. But it's funny because Alex also was learning After Effects and stuff, and he put out like his own little like Star Wars fan film that he did with his friends. Ooh. And I remember he made this what was it? It was an After Effects tutorial to like how to do the Kamehameha thing. And I saw it when we were first dating, and I was like, I'm impressed.
See? There
Sold.
You go. There you go. Yeah, and for me, the early relationship with YouTube was watching the Lazy Sunday SNL digital short. That was kind of like where it was, and I was like, what's this? And then I always tell the story, but when my pals, Harloff and Ellis started reviewing movies on this thing called YouTube, me and the rest of the comics literally sat them down and made fun of them. We're like, what are you doing with your lives? Like, what are you doing? And that's just, from that point on, I don't want to be the old guy who doesn't at least try to look at change or embrace change in all areas of life, but even in the tech and the entertainment. That's why, even something like TikTok that I'm not fully engaged with, I don't want to be the old, even though that emerges sometimes because I go back to those YouTube days. If I had started out earlier, who knows? Who knows what kind of career I would have had, but as Yoda would say, do or do no. Yeah, I don't know what Yoda would say about YouTube. So there you go. There we have it. Our bucket full of pop. All right. Next on the show here, I love when I have new guests come on the show, asking them this question. I just out of myself as sometimes being resistant to change when it comes to tech or a lot of things. But I always ask my guests, what is like maybe one trend? It could be anything, clothing, TV show, technology, YouTube, something that's a trend that you did get a little old man, old woman yelling at clouds, and now you fully embrace. Adam, I'm looking at you. You have always been on the cusp of the California burrito craze, so that doesn't count. But anything else there?
Oh man, this is a really good question.
It's a deep one, right?
Oh god, pressure. I want to say no.
You just been at the cusp of change all the way along?
Oh, I feel like I'm always like trying my best to like keep my hand on like the pulse of what's happening and how things are changing.
Totally.
And constantly adapt. Because I mean, I know that there's this like sometimes there's this attitude even around things like YouTube of like, oh, it's changing and people get annoyed by it and it's exhausting. Yeah. It is, and sometimes it's a really big inconvenience to just have to like make a video shorter or make a video longer or have to add chapters and all that stuff. But like I'm kind of interested in constantly exploring like new things.
Right.
And even TikTok, like I would say TikTok actually was the one thing that I was like not into, an app where people just dance. I'm like, I'm not into it. But then the pandemic hit and people started making cooking videos and instructional videos. And it like completely changed my perspective. And I think that was a huge indicator too. You don't have to be married to doing what everybody else is doing. You know, you should be the person who goes on a platform or you know, takes a piece of equipment or whatever it is and do something unique and different with it, because then people will be like, oh, I'm not limited to just doing this one thing. I can explore and try things. And if it fails, I don't know, no harm, no foul, in my opinion.
Look, very, very well said. And I know someone, Adam, you're someone who's taken some big swings in life and moved to chase dreams and moved back to reset your dreams. I know some of your story. We had a great interview on the Napzok Files podcast years ago. And even now, I think you're in a wonderful and challenging new chapter of your life and career of you know, sometimes you got to embrace what's going forward. And that's why I asked this question. There's fun meaning. There's, you know, my jeans are cut a little slimmer than they used to be. And I can make a joke about it, but I don't want to be that stagnant old person that's going to fight against everything, because I think that can be indicative of bigger problems. So, Molly, that said, what have you fought against, and what are you now a champion of?
The first thing that came to my mind were the Twilight books. So I went with one of my friends to a book signing when the last book came out, and like Stephanie Meyer was there, and she was like taking pictures and like meeting people, and she was like, do you want to come with me? And I was like, sure. Is this the one with the sparkly vampires and like all the girls are crazy about them? And she was like, yeah. So I went, and screaming girls everywhere. I was like,
what's this?
What is this? A year later, obsessed.
There you go. Look, I
Obsessed.
think that's fair. Even if something as silly as that, we as humans can sometimes have this instinct to be no, and that's just something we have to work through and work against, and I think it's good. And I don't know who's running the Heroes Reforged YouTube channel right now, if it's Augie or Hector, but Adam's instincts are a big reason why we are where we are. I think that's a high compliment. And having worked with Adam,
Can't be Hector.
It's probably, or in my thought, Adam, it's you on another screen typing a comment about, you know, that Adam guy is great, just the best. No, I worked with you, Adam, and I worked with you on behind the scenes stuff over at Defy and everything, and it's like, you know, you had your hand on a lot of things, and I think that's a good skill. So that's why I asked this question. It's kind of deep. So well answered, I will say to both of you there.
Yeah, Twilight is very deep. There's a lot of important themes.
Deep. But we have a tendency as generations to look behind us and go, I don't get it, so therefore I won't let them get it. And that's as a Star Wars fan who's so, you know, positive, doesn't mean I can't dig in and have discussions on things. I want so many different generations to rediscover it and so many different people and so many different backgrounds to rediscover this thing I love. I just think it makes sense to me, which is, again, why I now wear different shoes than I used to, right? It all flows into the same thing. All right, that is a great one there. Now, for the sports fans out there, there's this. And on the other side, we got our game coming on up. That one is dedicated to Mark Ellis and Josh McCouga, who the Walrus is one of our favorite golfing references around the office there. So there you go. Lo Rosario says, Adam is the man. Glad the boys are still together. There you go. There you go. All right, so this is our little game here. I've just eventually kind of called this game Oh, I Know It, which is kind of what I want here. So the game's pretty simple. We have a best of 5. What do you win? You win nothing. You win like a Marvel No Prize from back in the day. We are going to be answering questions, or you guys are going to be guessing questions in the category of TV shows. I'm going to give you a year. Then one by one, I'll give you a cast member who's in the show. Could be a main cast member. Could be a supporting character. I don't try to play too many games, so it's pretty direct. Your name is your buzzer. Adam and Molly, buzz in. If you buzz in and miss, your opponent gets to hear the rest of the cast and the name. All right, you ready to play the game? Oh, I know it. Molly, Alex, good. Molly, Alex, Molly, Adam. See, Alex, you're so much on your mind. My mind, Star Wars explained. I just see you in my dreams, Alex, ever since you took my belts. All right. Molly, Adam, are you both ready?
Yeah.
So ready.
All right, TV shows is the category today. Coming up first in 1998. You can guess on that if you want to take a big swing. 1998. Busy Phillips. Joshua Jackson.
Molly.
Molly.
Freaks and Geeks?
You were wrong. You were wrong. No. That was a little faint. I almost said it again. Adam, you get the rest of this here. Joshua Jackson. Michelle Williams. Katie Holmes.
Oh, Dawson's Creek?
That is it. You're up 1. I knew. I said I
needed the whole cast to be able to figure that one out.
I don't want to play tricks, but I knew Busy Phillips is going to bring up a couple different TV shows. There you go.
Is she in Freaks and Geeks? I can't remember.
Got a big start
so,
on Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, okay, good. At least I know that.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people kind of, even David Taylor in chat saying Freaks and Geeks, but Dawson's Creek, I don't want to wait for... Kaika, how many Paula Cole albums do you own?
Who?
Okay. Asked and answered. Peter Gabriel's backup singer goes to no. Okay, never mind. All right, next question. Adam's up 1-0. It's a best of 5, so first to 3 can win. I do have some bonus questions if we tie. I have had questions that people don't actually answer. Going to 2009. Jim Rash. Yvette Nicole Brown.
Molly. Community.
That's it. Molly's on the board 1-0. That's right.
Very
Community.
nice.
6 seasons and movie. I guess we're still waiting for the movie, right?
Yeah, we just did a rewatch of that show not too long ago. It's fantastic.
I've never seen it.
There you go, Adam. Well,
gotta watch it.
Goodbye, everybody.
I was a big fan of the show, and I know the big switch in season 4 and all that kind of stuff, and not everything in it holds up. I know that maybe, but I really like that show, and it just kind of. It's something that seems so new to me still, but it's already kind of old and a classic, which is hopefully all of us get that chance to do that. All right, Molly is ties up the game, 1-0 there. We're going to 1995. Carl Urban, Ted Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Renee O'Connor, Lucy Lawless.
Molly? Xena?
That is right. It's Xena Warrior Princess. Xena Warrior Princess.
I have not actually seen that show, but once you got to Lucy Lawless, I was like, I'm gonna assume.
Yeah, look, Carl Urban, Ted Raimi, who he actually gets coffee out here nearby. I was behind him one day. I was just gonna be like, hey, Xena, cool. I watched a lot of it on Saturday mornings. What's up? Bruce Campbell, of course, his connection, Sam Raimi, is behind the show. So there's a connection there. Ted, his brother, as well. So, yeah, interesting. It's a big show, but it's might be a little generational. Again, we're close enough to where we're all kind of experiencing the same things. But little things, Adam, it looks like you didn't spend your Saturday mornings watching Xena.
You threw me off with the Carl Urban thing. I was like, what? That was like the biggest thing that threw me off. I've seen episodes of it, but definitely have not binged the whole series.
You know, it's campy. It's definitely campy, but I'd rather watch that than Hercules. I'll tell you that.
I've seen like random episodes here and there, but someone in chat said didn't know that Bruce Campbell was in that. I didn't either. So yeah, those first couple names, I was like,
yeah, not a ton, but Sam Raimi, of course, the connection there, and he was doing the Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. around the same time. But
that's what I was thinking it was. But then
Look, if you had guessed the Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., Adam, I might have given you a half point just for the reference. It's like when I make a reference to She's the Sheriff, the Suzanne Summers sitcom from the late 80s, and like no one remembers it, but if you do, we get a point for each other there. All right, Molly's up 2-1. Adam does need to pull us up here to tie it up here in this game. I know it's going to the year 2001. Neil Flynn, John C. McGinley, Sarah Chalk, Donald Faison.
Molly.
Oh,
Scrubs.
Scrubs for the win.
Yep.
Molly's got the win. The big win. Scrubs.
Alex would disown me if I got that one wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Your husband is a giant fan of that show. Isn't there a picture on the internet of him on the back of Donald Faison doing that pose? Yeah.
Yes, he was very excited that Donald Faison was going to be at Star Wars Celebration because he voiced a character for Resistance, and so he was like, yes, I'm going to pay to meet him and get a picture and an autograph. And we have a framed picture of him on his back doing the eagle thing from the show. And that has also been his iPhone wallpaper ever since.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Alex is in chat, all caps. Molly, please. You gotta get it. Well, Molly, you pull out the victory. What is your prize? Like I said, it's a no prize. It's just no one here. Adam, you were very close on Scrubs. You have a relationship with Scrubs, or you just that time frame? You know the cast enough.
I started I was trying to put together the cast, and you said Donald Faison, and I was like, it just like seeded in, but I didn't open my mouth fast enough.
Yeah. Hey, that's part of what I want with this game. Like, I'm not trying to trick anybody, but I really do want to jog your memory, and I'm someone who does pay attention to cast, but you know, you don't know where people pop up there, and it can be kind of fun. So good stuff from both of you there. Molly wins 3-1 and moves on. So we're almost done with the show. Before we wrap up and talk to our guests, now this for all of you music lovers. And here's the problem when you get old and you start getting older. I still, when Crazy pops up on my iTunes Shuffle, I'm like, oh, I love this new song. It's still there. It's still in my mind. Do you both remember when Gnarls Barkley came out at was it MTV Movie Awards 2006, I do believe, maybe 2007, and did the full Star Wars getup for that song as I grabbed that photo from? Do you remember that?
I remember he did a bunch of crazy outfits. I don't remember him doing Vader.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. And Adam, I don't know if you remembered it, but
I don't.
Yeah, I loved it because this was post-prequel era, fresh post-prequel era. And as I was going through my own relationship with the prequels to a point where now I just really absolutely love them and enjoy so much in them, good and bad. That was an era where it was just like, wow, we can still be Star Wars fans despite all the conversation going around. We can still find what we love in our heart. And they even had a Django, I think, was playing keyboards in the background, Django Fett. So, I love that moment. It's in my brain for a good reason. So
I did another one of those. Let me pull it up in another tab and see if I remember it. And it definitely looks familiar. For sure, looks familiar.
Well, it's also in an era where, and while that does change the older you get, it's an era where MTV Movie and Music Awards carried a lot of weight, and you didn't just have to be young at the time. They were part of the water cooler conversation more than they are now. That was one of the last big moments I recall from it there. So I also love, Adam, I love that this entire time you just like, let me Google that and figure that out.
Gotta give it a Google.
Yeah. That is our show for the day. Thank you both for coming on and sharing your pop culture memories, your journeys, and just kind of reveling and being a nerd during this time. Really means a lot there. So, Adam, as we head on out, any final thoughts, words, and where can they find you and everything? Because I want them all to follow Heroes Reforged. If you're out there watching, you haven't heard of them yet.
Oh, thanks. Well, thank you for this trip down memory lane. I I reminisce about the old days sometimes,
Yeah.
and I realize the old days were 10 years ago, and I'm like, man, what happened in the last 10 years? So to go back even farther than that, I'm like, oh no, we're so disconnected from so many of those things nowadays. But it's always fun. It's always fun to go back in and talk with you know, fans of other things, of similar things, and to just get to reminisce on the old time. So thank you for having me.
Love it.
All my social media is just my name, Adam Hlavik. And like Ken was saying, I'm on Heroes Reforged every single week. We're in the middle of our watch through of Star Wars The Bad Batch. It's been a lot of fun. And pretty soon we'll be starting up Superman and Lois again. So if you want to watch The Dad Batch and and another show about being a super dad, then come hang out, subscribe and hang out. We'd love to talk about dads on our channel, apparently.
Hey, so does Star Wars. Found family indeed. Yeah, having a lot of fun with Bad Batch. And speaking of the Bad Batch, one of them in the batch is bad. That's Alex Damon. But Molly Damon, tell us final word. Well, you won, so you have the pulpit. If you want to go 5 minutes on Twilight, you can do that now. And then tell them where they find not just Star Wars Explained, but the stuff you're doing with a certain point of view.
I mean, I could do a whole episode on Twilight, so I won't put you guys through that just right now. But this was really great. I love reminiscing about like the late 90s, early 2000s pop culture. It was probably just my favorite time period, and like everything was just awesome.
Everything was grand.
Yeah. Music was great. Just yeah, I have like so many different playlists on my Spotify account that's like very like, okay, this was like 98 to 99, and then 2000 to 2003, and then a separate one for R&B. And so yeah, it's a fun time. But as far as where you can find me, I'm at Molly Damon on Twitter, at Molly Mander on Instagram, which is mostly just pictures of makeup that I do, and then videos of our dog Hilo and our cat Pippin.
Hey, that's a good thing.
And you can find me over at Star Wars Explained. Every Saturday we have a Q&A, and every Friday, while a show is on, we're doing live streams talking about the Bad Batch right now. But
yeah, absolutely.
A lot of fun over
As
there.
you all should. Follow them all. We appreciate all the Good People Association fans and supporters. And if anyone comes on who's new and you don't know, seek them out. Follow them. We want to bring. We're bringing good people. We always say we're not the good people. All you out there are good people, including the guests we come up on the show here. Love working with Adam back in the day, and I can't wait to work more with you, Adam. And always a joy, Molly. You know, you're definitely the better part of that team over there. Alex, such a jerk. Stole all the chips and salsa when we went to Don Cuco's in Burbank. They went to just a monster.
He's such a grump.
Which is also why I like him. So that is it for this week for Akaika over there. Let's hopefully those dreams come true for Akaika and Makuga to be on the Legend of the Hidden Temple. Send him positive vibes for that. Thanks for listening here. If you want more from us, go to the GPA.fun for memberships, merch, and more. We got some shows every day. We go live tomorrow. We get the Positivity Report. Chloe Condon from Microsoft coming on back. And big Josh Brady in the afternoon. We got Mike Falzone versus Steve Zaragoza on Josh Brady, the fastest game show on the internet. We'll see you all then. Bye for now, my pop friends. Bye.